Recording in progress.
I would often say, they can go west, but.
Yeah.
Recording the mic's on.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
I wanted to talk about it first. Before I send everybody in panic.
Yes,
Or send you in panic. Yeah. You guys ready?
Exactly.
Hello.
Stephanie, you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm ever gonna be.
You ready? Good evening. I'd like to call this workshop meeting of the Verona Borough Council of August 27th, 2024 to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Just
stand one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Hold on, sorry.
Hi, Joseph.
Ms. Provenza,
Present.
Mr. Floda,
Here.
Mr. Mayor Cooperio,
Here.
President Suchovich,
Here.
Ms. Bredzak,
Present.
Dr. Carpenter,
Present.
Mr. Jamelis,
Present.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Are there any additional emergency agenda items? No registered comments from the public. At this time, comments from the public, council will hear comments on public related items. If you have any, please approach the podium and state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
And please sign the paperwork.
You want that time? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, so.
Name is O.B. Morford. Address is 735 Third Avenue. And just a couple of questions I have. And it relates to our most recent water bill. And I know that the last workshop, not past one, but the one before that, Stephanie, you explained what the upcharge on the water rate.
The sewage rate.
Right, what that was used for. Okay, and you said that was for like to help the sewer fund and maintain the sewers and that type of thing,
Yes,
right?
it goes towards the sanitary lines, because essentially Alcoasam will buy certain ones of our sanitary sewer lines, but we still are required to fix those.
Okay,
So we have to pay for that, and then there are certain sanitary lines we will still have to take care of, even though Alcoasam. So that money goes into the sewer fund, which goes towards sanitary sewer linings, where they have to camera them, and that kind of stuff.
okay, so that's for sewage.
Uh-huh.
I do have a question though, there's a sewage service fee. And it is $28.39. Now, of that, does that fee, because I know Oakland collects it, does that go to the borough and then the borough sends it to Alcoasam, or who gets that service fee?
We get part of that service fee. Alcoasam gets, hold on, it's easier if I pull it up so I can look at it, because it's a lot.
Alcoasam approved 2341, board of directors approved 2341.
They raised their rate 7% every year on
Okay,
January.
right,
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
right,
It's 7%.
okay.
That's
So as of January 1st, 2024, it was 2341.
right.
So then we put an upcharge on that?
We put
What
a
is the
slight,
upcharge?
yeah, we put a slight upcharge on that so that we also have money to fix the sewer lines if anything would happen.
Sanitary, not just.
Sanitary, I'm sorry, sanitary. I
Not
should-
the.
So that's a $4.90 per quarter upcharge.
Hold on, I can give you the exact upcharge. Okay, so based off of 1,200 with a 7% increase each year from Alcoasam, The quarterly service fee that includes both to Alcoasand and to the borough of Verona is $28.39.
right,
Of that, $23.41 goes to Alcoasand,
right,
so we get,
$4.98.
that's all we're getting.
Okay, and that again is in addition to the amount we just discussed for sewers.
You get a service fee and a usage fee.
Right, right, and the other was the usage fee.
Your usage fee is per 1,000 gallons.
Right,
Alcoasand, $11.14 of
Right.
that usage fee per gallon.
right, and we're being charged
And
$14.70
we get the other,
per thousand.
we get the other $3. So we get about $7 per quarter. So that's what we're taking in. So we get, we get the money.
Between the two,
Yeah,
okay, but on the $3.03, that is per 1,000 gallons. So if I'm a household using 15,000 gallon, that amounts to $45.45.
because your sanitary,
quarter.
yeah, because we have to care for your sanitary sewer line.
In addition to Alcoasand.
Alcoasand does not give us, so if we repair your sewer lines, we get nothing from Alcoasand.
Okay,
We repair the borough sewer lines, not the house to street.
The house, no, we do not repair houses.
Right.
Any sanitary sewer line that's running through the borough, that's not going from your house to the street, we are responsible for.
okay, so it's $11.14 per 1,000 gallon that the Alcoasand gets, and the $3.03 per 1,000 gallons is what the borough gets to fix the boroughs.
Yes, and that all goes into the sewer fund.
Okay, and then one last thing, and this is on the garbage bill. It's actually two items on this. Our bill, as you had announced, we were prepared for it, $85.53 per quarter, all right, which amounts to $28.51 a month. And of that $28.51 a month, the increase was $6.99.
Yes.
Okay. I called County Holland to find out, what are you charging us for our, and they said, you'll have to ask the borough because that was a contract issue and we don't know. So is there an upper, oh yeah, I said, you don't know, right.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't think it was funny because I said, well, you don't know the water company.
Um,
Well, we're just the customer service department. You have to ask your borough.
Okay.
So of the $85.53 a quarter, how much of that, because that money comes from Oakmont Water over to the borough, and the borough pays the bill for garbage as for 1,150 homes, I believe you told me in June. So of that,
Right.
what,
We get billed about over $28,000 a month
okay,
from County Hauling.
okay. Can you tell me, well, I'll do the math on 1,150 accounts.
It's not on 1,150 accounts. As we've built this, as we have gone through this, we have been able to figure out a more exact amount.
Okay,
So monthly, we send them what the exact amount is. Please understand, unfortunately, we discovered during all of this that there were people who lived in duplexes, people who lived in triplexes, who were only paying one garbage bill.
okay,
Now they have to pay 3.
okay.
So
And that's
there's,
understandable.
so we are kind of
That's fair share.
moving and growing.
But we're being billed $85.53 a quarter.
Right,
What is the quarterly rate that you're actually paying to County Home? I'm just trying to figure out what the upcharge is. I mean,
it's
this helps.
it's only 1.5%.
1.5% is your upcharge.
and it's not going to
Of that
us.
85.53.
Yeah, and it's not going to us.
It's not going to, who's it going to?
It goes to Oakmont Water to do the billing because they had to take on the billing.
And again, why did they have to take on the billing? Because they always did the billing.
County,
What happened?
county hauling,
Yeah.
because they didn't want to do the billing because they are not allowed to lien property in the same way that utilities are, the same way that boroughs are. So they were getting shortchanged, people weren't paying their bills, we were getting mad because they weren't picking up the
Right.
trash, because it's a health issue. So they didn't want to do the billing. We were one of the last boroughs that they actually did the billing for. Most boroughs do their own billing, Oakmont does their own billing. It goes through Pam's, ours goes through Oakmont Water, some go through the borough itself. But when you're talking about a borough with 2 administrative people on staff, one that works full-time and one that works 25 hours a week, there was no way we could take on that billing.
Okay,
And
so,
it's cheaper than, we looked at Keystone and we looked at Pam's and they wanted a higher rate to do the billing.
okay, so we're paying 1% of my 85.53, I'm paying 1% of that for the bill.
Yes,
All I wanted to know, and they could not tell me, and it was.
well, they can't tell you a lot of things, trust me, we've learned a very valuable lesson in the last few
There's a
months
big
about all of
difference
that.
between can and won't, you know that.
Yeah.
And then one final thing, and this is on the statement. The statement that we got from Oakmont Water, their quarter is from May the 3rd until August the 1st. So that means that's the full month of May, June, and July. We've already paid county hauling for May.
They explained to us that they billed for June, July, and August.
Okay,
So that would be up to you to call, okay, here's what I'm gonna say to you.
okay,
I questioned that the other day. That is
Right.
up to you to call and ask them.
okay.
Well,
Here is really why I'm here tonight about this garbage bill is, and I think it would be up to the borough to stipulate this because we certainly don't have the authority, that on that line item where it says garbage or trash, whatever it says, bill, right beside that, define in print what that quarter is, because it's always gonna be different. Always gonna be different from Oakmont's quarter.
do you remember that when we were at the meeting? Okay, we will check with them, but
If you would, and tell them, it's an easy thing to do, they just have to change that title to say,
Yeah.
you know, what the quarter is, and it's always gonna be 1 month ahead.
and we will check with them,
Okay,
but they
because
made
until
sure-
that happens, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna cut 2 checks. One is gonna, and they'll both be to Oakmont Water,
here's what I'm going to tell you.
okay,
You do this, and
okay.
you don't pay your garbage
Oh,
bill
no,
in
no,
full,
we're gonna pay, go ahead,
they will shut off.
okay, and that's fine, but our garbage bill is paid, we're just not gonna double pay for May. So when we send, we're gonna.
I will check with, I'm sending them an email right, I am sending them an email right now.
And we'll note in the memo that if May's been paid, this is for June and July. And then next month, if it is not defined, we'll do the same thing. We're gonna send a separate check, but it'll be a 3-month check because
Like
then it'll
everybody
be
should do it.
for August, September, October.
Why don't we wait until I ask the question and get the answer? I
Okay.
am 100% positive that Oakmont's not doing anything wrong. We've sat with them for a long period of time discussing this. I will check this out.
Okay,
My recollection,
I have the bill if you need.
I have plenty of copies. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
I thought I recalled that back when they were making the switch. And
There was gonna be 1 month or something.
that our last garbage bill was only for 2 months.
was.
It was April and May,
I thought it was,
and we were gonna
March
offer
and
June.
April.
Oh, no, I have the bill here, if you wanna see.
I'm sure
It's
you did.
April and May.
I'll have to take a closer look.
Okay, and it was just for April and May. And we called and we said, why is our bill so low? And they said, because the June contract isn't in And that will be added on to your next quarter, or maybe they'll send you a separate bill. It's gonna depend on who the company is that the borough goes with. And so that's why it's real important, because they're gonna be ahead for kind of every quarter, for 2 different quarters. Months in the quarter.
I mean, that was great. That was solid, right? Skip 2 months, and it's over.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't catch it till the last minute. It was about an hour before we were coming here and I said, wait a minute. That's May. We're paying May, June and July. for the water bill." Yeah, a lot of people have called, and said, wait, are we double paying for May?
I don't, let me check, I'm reading through the billing contract, so.
I mean, it doesn't have to be at this moment, Stephanie. But, if they can just define what those quarter months are for garbage, it will keep everybody, it'll keep them all straight.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, not 3 minutes, I'll.
Gotta get that stuff squared away.
It affects us all.
It's all new, it's new to all of us, it's the new
Right.
billing, I thought it was just gonna be the 1 month also, and then it would be,
Yeah,
that's what we thought,
I thought we were gonna get a 4-month bill
right?
this time from my water. And I was bracing and telling everybody, now expect it's gonna be more than 85 because.
That's why I'm thinking, I'm almost 100% positive that they said to us that it worked perfectly, that they would start billing for garbage in June. So it's in June's bill, July's bill, and August's bill. Because we have to, you remember, we are paying ahead of time.
Right,
So we had to pay June's bill, we had to pay July's bill, and we had to pay August's bill. So I'm checking right now, but I am almost 100% positive that they said the billing would start in June. So it'd
Okay.
be June, July, August, September, October,
and it should, but
November.
it has to be defined, because there at the top of the bill, it says the service dates are May the 3rd until August the 1st. And that's the only place that service dates are defined, so then it's automatically assumed that that's a double billing in May for the garbage.
I think they billed the garbage in advance. I'm writing right
Stephanie,
now.
you'll look into that?
Yeah, I'm writing right
All
now.
right, thank you. We're gonna move on, if anybody else is done with that subject. Any other comments on from the public?
So, Kurt Sperling, 420 Bridge Avenue, was here in May. I don't have anything different to report other than the speeding problem still on Ridge and some.
We're gonna be talking about that.
So, yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I don't have anything new. It's not like anything's changed other than people are still speeding. Not going through stop signs the other day. We had a couple of issues, which I brought it up to the, to Tom, and, we went over some things, but, I shouldn't have to sit in my house and wonder or hope that, my kids and my wife outside doesn't get hit by a car. Anybody who watches the news or, Facebook, I think there was 2 kids that got hit and killed by cars, not, on purpose, thankfully, but I don't want to fix that one.
I know the mayor has had the police supposedly going down there and watching them signs and
Yeah,
patrolling that area.
yeah, absolutely.
Is there
And
any-
that has helped.
Is there any one time that you see maybe like 4 o'clock, 7 in the morning? It's probably hard to determine, I'm sure. That you see it more so than any.
All day, every day, I'll say, and I don't want to put it as if I don't care at nighttime, because obviously I care, but at nighttime, I mean, they're like I sent a few videos to, I believe, Dr. Carpenter. The other day, my stepdaughter fell off of a bike and it took her a minute to get up off the street, and there was a guy who was so impatient that he sped off around her So when my wife naturally yells at him, he turns around and speeds back as if to say like, to hell with you, I don't really care what you're saying. It's a point of, disrespect. I mean, there are some people, and some of these people live a couple of houses up from me. I'm not gonna mention who they are, but it's disrespect to see. I spent $30 of my own money to get, signs and put them in the ground. They're like that big, they don't do much, but anything to, if I'm driving through a town, and I see like watch children or 25 miles an hour, naturally, I'm a parent, that goes through my head, oh crap, I'm gonna slow down, make sure I'm watching. There's people that just, they don't.
People just don't care.
Can I mention what we're working on as the police, the administration, and DPW?
Yep.
And you're actually the first street we're working on, with the police department, admin, and DPW. We're working to start on those difficult intersections.
Yeah.
We were able to get one of the issues solved by getting that car,
Yeah.
truck, whatever you want to call it, pull away.
Yeah,
We are working on signs, yellow paint reminding people not to park within 30 feet of those stop signs because that is causing major issues. We're working on painting white lines and placing yellow flashing lights on top of the stop signs. And the first area we will deal with is Ridge, and then we will move through.
Okay.
We want to see, what we can do, if some of that will help.
Mhm.
Um,
now, the only issue with the, I don't know if it's PA state law, but 30 feet within a stop sign, because I mean, my house is right here. And I mean, I'm probably 5 feet from that stop sign, so how does that,
you will get ticketed.
okay, so where do I park?
I don't know what to tell you, but the rule is gonna be to try to alleviate the issue. The only way we can do that is to follow state law, and state law says 30 feet. So we're painting that all yellow to stop, because what's happening is people are parking right up to stop signs. And people can't see around them, so that was one of the big things we were asked to fix by the police.
So wait, so I'm not gonna be able to park in front of my own house, is what you're saying,
You have- Okay, here's what I'm gonna say.
okay?
There's an issue.
I appreciate the,
We're trying to fix a problem, but we can't fix a problem around a state law. So what we're trying to say is we're trying to fix this because you have other cars that are parking close to stop signs that are causing issues.
well, in our case, it was a box truck.
Well, that's fine,
But yeah.
but yes, so we have to figure out a way to stop that, and the only way we know how to fix that is to follow.
Is to take it out on the people who live in front of the house. Yeah,
I have to, I understand, I completely understand what you're saying, but we have to follow state law. If we follow state law, we can do that at every stop and try to fix
so
some of these
you wanna
issues.
follow state law, but you don't wanna enforce borough law, and which is in fact Commonwealth PA law.
Which is,
I'm not understanding. So I can't park in front of my own house because people are speeding, but you guys wanna work on painting so people aren't parked in front of stuff. I'm confused.
we're trying to fix issues of vision. We're trying to fix issues of box trucks parking where they're not supposed to be parked. We're trying to fix people running stop signs. I mean,
That's a
there's,
speed bump issue, not a paint.
Yeah,
so
what do you
people
put a
don't
speed
park.
bump on?
because
We talked about that.
we've
as well.
talked about that, but these are
It happened
things
before.
we can do right now. We cannot do a speed limit
What?
immediately.
People threatened to sue us because it was damaging the cars.
But if there's
Well, they're going to
visible
quit.
signs saying, hey, there's.
Well, what
a
if you're in
speed
an ambulance, you need to go to the hospital when you hit.
But they have them throughout
Yeah,
different
rolled out,
communities.
yeah.
We haven't ruled
Well,
out,
maybe.
you have to understand, we haven't ruled out speed bumps.
This is all in committee, they're working on it now.
This is what the police, the admin, and we're all trying to figure out to fix the problem now.
Well, just back to the ambulance part, like I can understand that, no doubt, but. It's not like I'm saying Ridge Avenue is gonna be the only place in the world with a speed bump, there are speed bumps everywhere where ambulance travel.
City has a lot of them.
And
Yeah,
we all,
Beach-
Yeah, I can drive
Boulevard.
through Homewood and they're like every block.
we all understand that, and we're not saying we're gonna get rid of that. What I'm saying is, we're trying to fix a problem, at least try to slow things down now. We can't put a speed bump up tomorrow. We can't put a speed bump up until the engineer comes through and figures out exactly what that's gonna look like and everything else.
I mean, I was here in May and, you know, it's
You
been,
know, this.
That's going somewhere else.
Sign.
That's going somewhere else for a while.
You know what, why don't we put that on Ridge Avenue until we get, you know,
Yeah,
permission from the state? Let's
Alright.
move that over to,
Then we'll just,
yeah.
then we won't,
And-
then we won't do the yellow line. I mean, but understand, we're trying to figure out, you're putting me in an impossible situation.
I'm just trying to keep my kids alive.
Kurt, what would you like to see happen in a sentence? So you would not like the yellow line, even though it's part of an overall traffic calming strategy?
I don't have an issue with anybody parking, like, you can park, I understand the law, like, if we're gonna enforce, you can't park in front of a stop sign. Enforce that, that's fine. But don't take it out on me, because I'm trying to stop speeding. And, you know, you guys, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but you guys wanna worry about people parking in front of stop signs, that's not what the issue is. The issue is people speeding down Ridge and Selden, that's the only, that is my only issue. But don't take it out on me, because I don't even know where I would park.
Yeah, you would have to park by hand in there. And
Yeah.
like you said, it's your house.
Yeah.
You should be able to park in front of your house.
Yeah, and
If
I'm
he
not,
parks if he parks in his yard, and he's gonna get a fine from that.
Okay, then,
What about
here,
the people live on the boulevard? They can't park in front of their house.
They park there.
It's 2 hour parking,
In the evening,
but they can't park in front of their house.
we were trying, and I guess, I'm sorry that it didn't go over, we were trying to find ways to traffic calm what was occurring right now. I can't put a speed bump in tomorrow,
yeah,
nor can I plan it. I have to wait, that's budget, that's a whole different thing. We were trying to think of ways that we could control the traffic by putting flashing lights on the stop signs, by putting lines that said stop, by making sure people weren't parking on top of those stop signs. This was never meant to be a punishment. This was literally, I really, truly thought we would be helping you out. I apologize.
no, listen, all it comes down to is, you know, I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, are parents, grandparents, safety. Safety of kids, that's all it comes down to, that's all I want. And I apologize, what did you say that we would do on Ridge instead of somewhere else? I wasn't,
They're gonna put a speed sign. I mean, I don't know how much that'll change anything.
okay,
I mean, we can put the sign there. We can stop all the rest of that we were gonna put
The
up.
one that's on Center Avenue. it's-
Oh,
shows you
okay,
how
okay,
fast
I
it's
got you,
going.
yeah.
Will it work?
right, yeah,
You know what I mean?
well, all right.
They still speed
We
up.
really truly thought we were trying, we were solving, this was what the police told us, this was the ideas the police had given us to increase safety. So we were trying.
I mean, if you guys can do that without giving me a ticket for parking, I'm all for it, but yeah, I'll end it with that. Thank you. If you guys could just, you know,
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Where exactly are you on Ridge? I know the address, but, cause I know the bottom of Ridge.
He's right by the stop sign.
yeah, right there at the stop sign.
Aren't all of those houses have
They all have a
off-street
parking spot, but he doesn't.
So no, well, I
You have a
own the
little
lot.
asphalt in front, I think, right?
Yeah, I own the lot next to it, which I put a fence back, you know, like 10 feet. So I do park my cars in the yard next to my house in front of the
So you
fence.
do have off-street?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause I thought all of those houses, the last 4 of them or whatever,
Yeah.
5 of them have
Yeah.
off-street parking. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on public comments? Nobody on video? Okay, discussion items. I just want to remind council, mayor, Pete, and general public that there's a policy on calling the solicitor and the engineer. Everything got to go through Stephanie, so she knows if she gets a bill, she knows that that person was called. If we get our monthly bill from the engineer and she doesn't know that he was here, she's gonna call him and say, you know, what about, what's this bill for June 8th? You were at a meeting or you, whatever. Just want to be a reminder that we don't call the solicitor or the engineer without notifying Stephanie or asking Stephanie. And also, we had an exec prior to this meeting for personnel. That's all I have. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on that? Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any way that, Stephanie can email all the council members the policies so they can do a refresh of it?
Yeah.
I know there's a couple council members that weren't on council when we passed that policy.
Stephanie, you can take care of
Yeah,
that,
I
please?
will, and really, it's nothing, I would never say no, the problem is. We read those bills like fine tooth combs,
So you have to track it.
we track them,
Yeah.
because we have to know, and when you guys do that and we don't know. I don't ever wanna make an enemy of matter or Craig,
Very good, thank you.
So communicate.
Yeah,
we don't have, yeah, we really need to work on.
next up, Mayor.
I have two items, the war memorial, the cannon. It was painted, refurbished completely by Verona Oakmont Vietnam veterans and, I'm gonna read you their names, John, we know him as JB Shaw, Tim McKee, Denny Shaw, Denny Bonarotti, Robert Reno Graham, Harry Pavone, Mike Gentile, and all of them are in their 70s. And they put 73 man hours. They grinded, filled, primed, repainted. And they painted it battleship gray, and the wheels were done in linseed oil. And it looks really nice. The paint was supplied and donated by Avalotis Painting here in Verona down on Jones Street. They've always been very helpful with us, and they actually did the cannon when I had it refurbished the first time, probably 25 years ago. And the borough of Verona and the street department workers for all their help and pitching in with, I guess brushes and what have you, thinners and what have you. So we really, I want to thank those veterans for giving up their time, almost 2 weeks to come down and refurbish the cannon. It looks good.
Looks nice.
Yes. And Obi, I'm glad you're here because I was gonna call you, block watch meeting. I talked to Obi and we're gonna have a meeting. And we're gonna have the officers here, and I talked to Sergeant Francos, and I gotta see if, either the 16th or the 19th of September, if anything's going on here. Right now I got officers.
16th is not possible, the 19th would work.
Okay, the 19th would be a Thursday. Will that work for you? Yeah. Yeah, and you could, it's basically, you're gonna be, here to explain, well, what is the block watch? What do they do? What do I have to do to join it? My obligation, questions and answers, things like that, and the officers, because there's a perception, there was a woman that, I don't know, there was an incident at Cribbs Field and she didn't know what to do. She yelled at the guy because the dog was in the park. And I had said, you need to call 911. And she said, well, that's for emergencies. It's not for emergencies. We need to continue to educate people. They'll ask you, is this an emergency? No, I would like to have an officer in Verona come down. I want to speak to them about a barking dog, or kids, that are vandalizing, something like that. And, a lot of people will call the office over there. They will call the office, but we don't want them to because it's not recorded. We want to educate people about that. When we had the community days, I had, there was about 25 people here, and I stressed that to, not community days, the community,
Public safety meeting.
what was that with Jessica?
Public safety.
It was the public safety
The community.
meeting.
Yeah, the community group. There's 25 people here, and I explained to them, and they were like, oh, I thought, we weren't allowed. But we need to educate more people. But will the 19th work? Did I say, yeah, the 19th, will that work for you?
That's fine.
Okay, 7 o'clock?
Sounds good.
All right.
Here, right?
Yeah, and you can put it out on your, block watch, and we can put it out on.
Yeah. on the electronic sign.
Yeah, on electronic sign, Vince, you can put that on there.
So I was gonna ask, Obi and Jeff, if you would email me, details about it, I will put the meeting on it. So,
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah. And we'll have a meeting maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, you know, to update people and let them know what's going on. That's my goal, to do it mainly twice a year. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you.
Can I say, can I suggest that we put, because it is an issue about calling on, a lot of people don't know that. We maybe, I know that you do a segment every issue of the newsletter.
Yeah, I can.
Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah.
And then
That's a
maybe,
good idea, yes.
could we maybe put it on the homepage of the webpage that 911 isn't just for emergencies, it's for everything? Just that way it's the first thing people see.
The big issue with that too is those call logs that the county generates.
Yes,
Then
Yeah.
they are looked at by the DA
Yeah.
and when there's any drug money,
right,
and they say, oh, Verona's only had 7 emergency calls.
exactly.
Well, not only
They're
that,
not entitled, they don't have enough.
They include everything. I want to speak to an officer
they
that,
keep
Right.
track
Yeah.
of it for grant purposes
Right.
also.
Right.
When you see a town that has high call volume,
Absolutely, that's
they're
what-
gonna get a better
We've
grant.
said it since we started Blood Watch, that is money in the borough's
Yes.
pockets.
and thank you both for doing that.
You're welcome, thank you for arranging that, appreciate it.
Good, Dave?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank
Done,
you.
thank
Next
you.
up, borough manager's item, Stephanie.
Personal budgets are almost complete. We're starting the expense budgets this week. We will work with Matt on grants and capital funds to be completed in the next 2 weeks. I would like to schedule our public meeting for the budget at our workshop. I would just like to do it at the workshop on October 22nd. I see no reason to do it separately, especially with the fact that we're gonna be in the middle of elections in November. That will give us a chance for the public to hear the budget in October, for us to review it at the business meeting, get everything we need to get done, so that we're way ahead of schedule instead of waiting until the last 5 seconds of.
Whenever you're ready for it, whenever you think
Well,
it's
I
gonna
plan
be
to
ready.
be ready October 22nd. I won't be here the first meeting in October, but I will be here that meeting.
Very good. Yeah, schedule it.
So I like, is it okay if we do it during the workshop meeting?
With the budget meeting?
Yeah,
Yes.
No, I don't have a problem. Does anybody have a problem with
Did Sergeant Franco's turn in a budget?
what kind of budget was he to turn in?
We always turn a budget in every year.
You've never turned the budget in.
We've all, well, maybe the chief didn't do it last year then.
I haven't had a budget from the police in 3 years. Now, we go through the budget, Sergeant Francos and I went through the budget. But because all the bills come to our office, there's no way for the police to do their own budget. They don't see the bills come through.
Well, so, not so much bills, but you know, the ones that we need over there.
Those would be grant dollars, and they're working on that for grants.
I think it just means a wish list, it's not already.
Yeah, your wish list, yeah, that, we've already got that worked out with some other things that are coming through, but we don't add, like, the police budget is simply the personnel and all the bills that we pay throughout the year. If there's capital items that are needed, those would go on a wish list like everybody else's do.
But he didn't turn in the wish list, is I guess what I'm asking you then.
We know what the wish list is. Yeah, we know what the wish, but we turn that all into seal. So that wish list has been turned in.
All right,
Cause that's more like you're talking about cars and all that kind of stuff.
office equipment, computer,
Oh, no.
vests,
That's already all
Uh,
built into the budget. That's not wish list, those are automatically built into the budget, they've been built into the budget. So they're already in there. So we already know those items. Like if they need they just got new computers, so we know they don't need, those would be in hardware. They just got new computers, we're working on vests right now, we're working on cars. But the big thing is, they've never, to write their own budget, they don't know what their bills look like. Because all their bills come to us instead of them, because we have to pay them all. Committee budget goal request, please get me any items you're gonna want included in next year's budget. I'm not making any guarantees. We know in capital budgets, there's a lawnmower needed and there's some other equipment needed for the parks. But anything, that's realistic. Please remember, we only have so much money and, we'll do the best we can. We already talked about the parking, storage room. We gotta do something about the storage room that's in DPW. There are old chairs sitting back there. There's old stuff that nobody's taking out. And it's getting to the point where you can't even get in there.
It's at that old garage, it's not the chamber building.
No,
No, the chamber room is a mess. So we really need to start looking at that,
I have a meeting next month, I will mention it to them.
I mean, there's like folding chairs back there, there's boxes that we're not sure that have ever been touched. We need, because the problem is. People go in, they just throw their stuff down and then they walk out and then we go to try to find something. And you can't get back there to find anything.
And last year, there was a chamber clean up day, and they went through everything.
There
up
are Easter eggs all over the floor in there and it's.
There's 2 racks of chairs that are only a quarter of the way filled.
Well, they both used to be filled. People would borrow the chairs the same way with the tables and they would never put them back.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that unless the chamber's gonna deal with that and do that. We probably just should get rid of them, maybe to somebody else who can loan them out. Because the boys don't have, time to do that and there's not many left. So, and I don't wanna lose our plastic tables and the chamber's always very good. Anybody who has an event, park is always very, very good, but. So, but there ain't enough chairs to,
I will bring it up at the meeting.
so. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Our next is our intern presentation from Miss Josie. Our little Josie.
Hold on.
Susie, did you come all the way back from Ohio?
No, just from Pitt.
Why isn't it not letting me?
Do you wanna share from your computer?
I wanna share from my computer.
Back to school. Second day boxes, maybe what was that used to play then?
We should have taken you.
Thank you.
Good show.
It should be able to share.
Hold on. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, do we stand at the microphone? Would that be fun? Okay, yeah.
She kicked you out of your chair.
You want your chair back, honey?
No.
Cause you can go through it then. Here, no, seriously. for all your way. I've read the plan, seen the plan, proud of the plan.
Okay, anyways, so,
Yeah.
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 Oh. I see. Okay, well, thank you all for having me back, I guess, for one last, council meeting. Basically, during my time here, I worked on a lot of different things, but primarily I have created this very large, I think it's 28 pages now, document to like continue these efforts once I'm gone, and it'll be in all of your emails as soon as the meeting is over and I can email it to you. But what I have in front of you is just like a shortened down little presentation of kind of everything the document covers, and also some of the like survey and interview results that I'm sure everybody's been anticipating so highly. So, oh yeah, and this is my cheeky little title, A Comprehensive Guide to Creating a Comprehensive Plan. Okay. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, so overall, during the survey, we had 70 responses. Which is not as many as I was hoping for, but I could see through the program that we used that it got a lot of views. But it also can't differentiate between like return viewers and first time viewers. So am kind of drawing a conclusion that the length of the survey maybe deterred some people. Also maybe the slightly complicated ranked choice voting, which I do think was important though. But either way, I do feel like around 70 responses isn't bad. And I feel like there was a diversity from within the responses. Most people did live in Verona and some actually did live and work in Verona, as you can see. But in terms of the age breakdown, it was almost actually a pretty even split between like the different age demographics you have here because, well, what I've listed here is the 16 through 40 years of, sorry, how long they lived in Verona, not how old they are. And then who's lived in Verona or been a part of the community for 41 plus years. And that adds up to 55, which means that 45% of the people were slightly newer residents. Okay, and then moving on, when people were asked to rank their priorities from the list of 9 that I gave them, the top 3 were emergency services, infrastructure improvements, and economic development. The challenges that we faced when we asked, and I'd like to note that in a sense, this is perceived challenges rather than genuine challenges that the borough faces. But overwhelmingly, residents responded a lack of economic prosperity. And then something that I thought was important to include was while I was out trying to get people to take the survey and interacting with the community, sometimes people were not interested at all in taking the survey and instead verbally told me their feedback. So, but I figured that is also a valuable form of feedback to take into consideration. But the things that were mentioned were the need for another senior high rise, better bus and public transportation options. There was a few people who supported the BOV trail and people who did mention more crosswalks. And in the larger document I'll send you, there's like much more data included in it. This is just kind of like key highlights I picked out. As well as I do have like an Excel spreadsheet of exactly every single answer that I'll be sending to you. Okay, and then from the interviews, there was 14 interviews completed. And the the starter question for anybody who was interviewed remembers that it was, what ice cream flavor would Verona be if Verona was an ice cream flavor? Overwhelmingly, with 4 votes, it was Neapolitan. And I didn't give people, ones to pick from. These really came up with on the top of their head. So it was just kind of a goofy question, but other than that, something that I noticed was that people really, really feel strongly about the atmosphere that Verona has. And I titled it That Romantic Small Town Feeling, but I pulled out kind of quotes from what people have said about the things that they appreciate about Verona. And people talked about how people who live here are bonded for life. It's really dreamy, a tight-knit community, quaint, peaceful, and everybody knows everybody. So I think that, through all of the discussions that I had, there were many, improvements and things that people talked about they want to see for the future of Verona, but I always came away from it with feeling that their admiration for the borough as well. And then also from the interviews, people were asked to identify aspects of their ideal Verona that were most important to them. And frequently, the things that were mentioned were public safety, business district upgrades, and code enforcement, like addressing all the blight. And then other highlights that I pulled away from these interviews, just little bits that I thought, like sometimes somebody would say something and it actually be something I hadn't thought of, and I was like, oh, that's such a nice idea. But other highlights, things that were mentioned frequently were park improvements, more community events and festivals, borough beautification, improved access to the riverfront, and making more things ADA compliant. And then continuing with the comprehensive plan, and this is kind of a list of everything that is included within the guidebook that I'll be emailing you. And so there is a very detailed, hopefully, timeline of completing the DCED Municipal Assistance Program application. And that we will need to get funding for the grant, or sorry, for the plan. The application on the website, it says it's rolling admission, but I recently learned that you can, that means to them, that means you can submit it at any time, but they only review the applications twice a year. So the next time they'll be reviewing applications is March 1st. That's fine because it gives us lots of time to get everything prepared. Because in the guidebook, there's also a checklist of documents and information needed for the application. All of them should be pretty straightforward. And then I included a list of all possible plan components according to the Pennsylvania Planning Series. And this is like a huge list. A lot of them, or at least some of them, are not going to be applicable to the borough, but it's just to give you an idea of every single thing that like a comprehensive plan can cover. And then I created, just out of kind of my own fun, a mock table of contents that I think these are the issues that are, you know, most prevalent that need to be addressed. Here's how it could be addressed in the plan. And a lot of that I pulled from my like surveying and interviewing. And then finally, as I have spent the last few months here and I've learned so much, I have also been exposed to so many resources for the borough. And I'm sure that, you know, a lot of you and Stephanie know about a lot of them already, but I figured why not create a place where they are centralized so you can see them all at once. So there's a big, long few-page list of different organizations, whether they be government affiliated or not, that provide any kind of guidance or grant funding or assistance in any way, shape, or form. Some of them will do like free energy audits or stuff like that, just for consideration of like, either we can do this while we're creating the plan, or it can be part of the plan to do it once the plan is created, if that makes any sense. And then what's next? So Thursday, September 12th from 7 to 8 p.m. Stephanie Edwards, who is the local government planner in the Southwest for the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, will be here to talk about applying for the DCED MAP funding. And so she will be here, she'll give a little presentation, people can ask questions, and she'll be a great resource. You'll really need to keep in contact with her, because once you submit the application, let her know, she'll advocate for it, like she will, you know, kind of guide us in every step of submitting the application as best as she can. So hopefully I will see you all there. The planning commission already knows about it, and I believe most of them will be there. Other than that, I've informed a few other random people in the community who are interested, but it is like a public meeting. If you want it to be, anybody can come. But otherwise, that's all I have just for this presentation. But thank you guys so much, truly. This summer has been incredible for me. It's been, I mean, this has been like the first time I've had a true 8 to 4 job, so I could experience something like this, but also in a place that was so welcoming and allowed me so much independence and room to grow and knowledge. And I just am incredibly grateful to all of you.
Well, we want to thank you for all you've done. You've really lightened up the office in there and really did a great job on this plan, spent a lot of hours and a lot of time, and hopefully you learn and you move on from this.
We'll put your this presentation up to the public,
Okay,
so it'll be online, probably sometime toward the end of the week. I am on my own this week, so it's a little bit dicey sometimes.
okay.
Josie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I can't stay the whole time tonight, but.
You go do your.
Go right now.
Okay.
No, get out.
Child.
Get out.
I'll get back. Come hang out someday.
I know she would come back and see me soon.
Yeah.
Stephanie might buy you lunch.
Stephanie will do bargain buyer lunch.
On the 12th, Josie? Yeah. Yes, she said she's.
Wait, it's a Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be there.
You're the
I
one
was
who
like- I
arranged
was
it.
I know, but I don't know.
She made sure that I knew everybody though. She's
Yeah.
like, I don't think she was planning on it.
Well, I don't know, I could, but I didn't, but the kind of idea is that
No,
you
we
guys are,
understand.
you know, I'm setting you guys up to
Right.
take off.
No, we appreciate that.
Convince her to come back next summer and do the next step. But she'll be a
Hope
graduate.
it'll be. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Josie.
Bye.
I will post it online this week.
Okay. Be safe.
Bye.
Okay, next up, committee discussions items, parks and property, Mr. Floda.
I have two things, and I'm gonna ask two people to help me with them. First, Tim was gonna give a report on our Battle of the Borough 6 Parks Rec Wrestling event that happened last Saturday. 2 Saturdays ago.
August 19th,
Saturday.
battle of the.
We're all messed up, 17th.
Seven.
One of them days.
So that
It's a tornado.
I'm wearing a shirt that says it. We had battle on the Borough 6, we did not have the best of weather.
They had a tornado.
We had a very violent storm hit about 4:30, about an hour and a half before the event, we lost a few tents. But the weather cleared up, the show went on, the wrestlers wrestled, it was actually a pretty good event. I didn't think that we were gonna get a lot of people, but we ended up with 150 tickets sold. We had about 300 people total in attendance, with first responders and media and staff. So all in all, it was not the best turnout, it was the lowest turnout of all of our wrestling events, but I mean, for the weather, 154 people was pretty good.
It rained and then stopped and then.
It rained
So,
4 times.
It
during
didn't
the
even
event.
rain, it torrential.
That's
The
bad.
first one was horrible, the last couple were just kind of rains and they just wrestled through them. It was nice. We had raffles for the Verona Bike Derby, Police Bike Derby, the Verona Volunteer Fire Department and Lower Valley Ambulance Service. We were able to raise $30 for each of those entities. For the limited people, we had concessions and a 50-50 to benefit the Lower Valley Athletic Foundation, and we made 115 in concessions and $101 in 50-50.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And this past Saturday, Friday, I keep thinking it was Saturday. My mind has been messed up since wrestling. This past Friday, me and Trish represented Verona in a kayaking event that was put together by Friends of the Riverfront and about 6 other entities. There were about a dozen state reps there. Other reps from many local communities, Rich Fitzgerald was there.
Yeah, Senator Lindsey Williams, Representative Andy Steele, Rich Fitzgerald.
This is where I pass it to Trish, because she knows all the details. I'm just trying not to drown in the river.
You did well at that.
I did, I was also on the pontoon boat, and everybody else in the kayak.
Yeah, representatives from Senator Bob Casey's office, Summer Lee's office, and Krista Julio's office. We kayaked or rode a luxury pontoon boat from Springdale to Farmer through Lock 3. The purpose of the event was to raise awareness of the importance of locks on a river for recreational farming in our area. A lot of people don't know about the locks or aren't familiar how to use the locks, so we have to experience that firsthand, and it is not difficult at all. If anyone's interested, happy to talk about that. But yeah, it was a fantastic event put on by our partners from the Riverfront who are helping us with a number of other things in our area, including successfully getting a grant to improve ADA access at our public dock. Corona, and of course, we all know about the dock off the trail effort. So thank you, friends, and it was fun to participate, and hopefully we can do that again.
It was very nice. We got to see, Springdale has a ADA kayak launch, just like Corona is about to get. That's one of the reasons I signed up, because I wanted to
Test your old man ability.
see what we were going to get into. Also a big issue with me is I've lived in Verona my whole life. I know the importance of the locks and the dams on the river. I know what the river was like before they were installed, and it's the flooding that happened. I know that that keeps our town safe. It also helps with commerce on the river, it helps the barges get up and down the river. And they're having trouble getting funding for the
Yeah.
locks. They've been having trouble getting funding for 50 years. They're in disrepair, they're working, but they're in disrepair, and we are going to, us being river town, as well as a railroad town, we rely on the locks to keep us safe, keep us dry, and keep us functioning. So really soon, something is gonna have to be done to get funding to rebuild and refurbish the locks.
We're talking about closing the one down way up.
Yeah.
Number 6.
They're basically running on skeleton crews right now, but it's starting to come front page again. State reps are starting to realize that we're getting to a point of no return. We need to fix them. If they fail, everybody's gonna have a bad time. From wherever it fails to Ohio.
They are working on, Joe McAndrew is also working.
Yes.
Bring attention to the law, so that will be coming up.
Well, McAndrew would be cost on that.
So I mean, it was a fun event, but that's not, I didn't really go to learn to kayak or swim or whatever.
Clearly, you're on a boat.
That's why I didn't want it to turn into a Vince is gonna learn how to swim today event. So,
Oh,
yeah, so but I went there for reasons that a lot of people don't realize how important the locks are, how safe they do keep us, and how neglected they've been.
Yeah.
So, hopefully things will start gaining traction and we can start finding funding to start. Thank you, sorry, I didn't want this.
No,
Thunder. That's all I have, and I want to thank Tim and Trish for helping me get through it.
Very good. Thanks, Vince. Next up would be Mrs. Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. I, along with Vince and Tim, are on a committee for the funeral flower policy. And what we discussed was, and we're thinking of having put into policy, was what will we be doing with, for instance, all current employees? We're thinking that would be immediate family. And then we have former borough employees that with at least 10 years of work for the borough in good standing. And that would probably fall under immediate family again. Then we have current retired state representative. That would be, I'm thinking, that person or possibly their immediate family. Current state senator, that would be the same. That person or their immediate family. Current council members, that right now, we were thinking for immediate family, but this is not really totally finalized. And I think Are we putting this up to council?
This is up to council. My suggestion would be that everybody review it.
Yeah, it's not on for action items.
It's not an action item.
Yeah, I did review it from the last time. I had a couple comments, Sylvia. One, I'd like to suggest that we also include our firefighters in the list of individuals. Secondly, I was gonna suggest for family of borough employees instead of this immediate, we just go ahead and mirror whoever they would be able to take leave for, which I think is immediate, but maybe includes a few others.
It's pretty much immediate.
So you would like to see firefighters added to,
Yes.
I agree with that.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Firefighters and immediate family.
How far are we gonna?
I would,
That's, we're getting.
that's what I'm saying, I would say the firefighter,
Yeah,
personally,
Totally.
yeah.
I would say
And
yes.
keep in mind, we can always elect to do it ourselves. This is just what we're using taxpayer.
And I would probably just do current for past state reps and state senate. Cause when you start to say immediate family and stuff like that, yeah, you're in a slippery slope.
So make that our own.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah, it just says current retired. So you just wanna make it current state rep.
Oh, it's in
Current and retired, but no.
Family, yeah.
Okay,
The same thing, I think, with current council members, and instead of we doing anything for past members.
that can be another,
I think it still should be like former borough employees that left in good standing, so if there are past council members. They would have had to left in good standing or served their term, not resigned. Before their term was up, and I also think we should keep family out of that for former council members. It should just be for that.
Should we have a time period that someone served on council?
you know,
4 years.
10 years.
4 years,
4 years for a.
one term, I think.
If you look
Council, okay.
for borough employees, it says they had been there 10 years and it says who served on council within the past 10 years.
And then we're in good standing.
I mean, that, I personally, I think that should be changed, like, you know, Vince said. To work 10 years, you know, if somebody dies in 8 years, they gave their time, whether they were on council. In the past, or, you know, borough employee, and if I'm reading that right, you wanna, you know, if somebody passed away after 10 years, the borough would send flowers.
No, it was.
If they worked for us for 10 years
Yeah.
and then they passed away like 5 years after they don't work for us anymore, we would send flowers to
Right,
that.
okay,
former
yeah.
employees.
We're trying to stop they worked for us 25 years ago and have gone to 18 other places, but they still work for us. Trying to stop that kind of stuff.
So, question here, the first one says all current
It's
employees.
a repeat, we just didn't notice it.
Okay, the last one, okay, all right.
Well, actually, it says all current employees, the other one says current employees with death in the immediate family. So they're actually two separate things.
Yeah.
One,
And I think we keep that because. That, I mean, we have an employee working for the borough. And they lose husband, wife, son, daughter.
mother, father.
Yeah, I mean. Flowers is the least we can do.
I agree.
And with council members, I think they only need to serve, like I said, they would have had to have at least served a full term, 4 year term. And I think that's enough. I mean, 4 years of volunteer work is worth $100 worth of flowers, I think. Especially if you gave your life or you're not around anymore. And like Stephanie also said,
Yeah,
this isn't an end all be all. We know what our finances are. If we have a whole bunch of deaths one year, God forbid. We could always say, listen, we don't have this in the budget. We could all pitch in,
Yeah,
like we've done in the past, personally, like $30 each, $20 each.
This reverts back to when I first came on, the issues that you were having when we first came on.
But yeah, we were sitting in meetings for 45 minutes discussing whether we were gonna buy flowers
That gives you a.
for state reps that passed away, but.
it's a guy.
Yeah,
And it's not nice. to sit here and discuss whether someone is worth a bouquet of flowers because they died. That's, in public, that's terrible to talk. And we're trying to, moving forward.
We're talking about it now in
discuss
public.
less, yes.
Right.
So, sorry, Sylvia,
No, that's okay, this is open to all of us.
please make notes for this, so for we can, maybe get this on the business meeting for approval.
Okay, so we're gonna change that 10 years to 4 years then.
No,
No, that just for, former council members, as long, we could use the same thing that we used up top.
A full term.
Yeah, full term and left on good standing. Which means not kicked off or resigned or. I said it, everybody kicked off of council.
I think that's over here.
I mean,
But not here.
yeah,
yeah, but it could.
I mean, it could, so if somebody were to. Get removed from council or resign before their time.
Yeah, if you only serve like 2 years and quit.
Yeah, then,
So we're gonna leave that one that's 10 years. Everybody's good with that?
There's also the situation where you served 4 years, then you left. Then you come back for 2 years or 1.5 years and resign. But there is the 4 year previously.
That's something we can discuss
Yeah,
when we get back.
Yeah.
it's a guide.
like I said, this isn't an MLB all, we could, it's just, hopefully we don't. Have to drag it out and talk about it in the future.
And again,
Length.
when somebody passes away, then the email started, a phone call started, hey, should we get flowers for them? Should we get
Yeah,
flowers for them?
this
Or we-
would help us make it a
This
little bit easier.
Stephanie can look at this and say, okay, yeah, they get it. Right. Anything else, Sylvia?
I'll just close it with, this policy also establishes a limit of $150 per individual unless council amends that amount.
I know you get flowers.
Well, you know,
Trying to get flowers for.
well,
No,
not
it's
really.
not really. I can usually get them for about 100. I mean, if that will probably.
Flowers to me are just such a waste. I see so many going.
I'd
Yes.
rather donate it to the family.
Well, either donate it to the family or, you know, they make them nice blankets now, or they make them,
Something, yeah.
them
Well, we can figure that
hand
out.
things out. It doesn't have to be a flower item.
No, it's just $150.
Right, right.
Yeah, don't, if you can donate it to a nonprofit.
Right.
You don't agree with us donating anything to a family, it's the fact that we're a
Yeah.
tax body,
True,
so.
true. All right. Anybody else, anything else on the flowers? We'll make them corrections and get it on the minutes for the next meeting. Thank you. Okay, is that it then? Finance, Mr. Long.
This time I have nothing, we will be having a meeting on the 16th, Stephanie,
You'll probably be having a couple meetings before that,
before the 16th.
but they will not be.
No,
open to the
no, no
public.
meetings will be public.
Yeah, right, we're in budget, so they will not be.
Very good, thank you. Now that. Next up, public safety, Dr. Carpenter.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, we had our meeting on August 21st, 20th, I mean, Tuesday, August 20th at 5:30. There were a couple of people in attendance in addition to the committee. Several things were talked about, a couple of which have already been addressed. One had to do with the bridge and, hopefully having also increased police patrols for catching some of the speeders and people who are running through the stop sign. So, but we've already discussed that. And the other thing, well, there are many other things. We talked about possible future CPR classes, and I was assigned to talk to Terry at LVAS. And I did talk to him, and he is interested in doing 2 CPR classes a year. So we'll probably do a spring and a fall type of thing. And also we talked about possibly doing a first aid class, which people who attended CPR were very enthusiastic about. So try to fit that in maybe for this fall, but we don't have a definite date yet.
Question, will we be interested in partnering with one of LEAS's other smaller municipalities such as Lennox?
No, we didn't really, you mean in terms of presenting or inviting people to come to the
Let's
class?
do a joint class,
We could look into that.
just to ensure numbers.
You would be
too.
looking at Springdale, Springdale Borough, Springdale Township, Farmer. So we can talk to them. A lot of the ones that are in Allegheny Valley Fire District, Fire Department get their training through them. So, but we can, I can call some of those people. I'm on the board, so we can see.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure, you know, there is a maximum number that they're willing to take in a class, because then it gets a little unwieldy. And they would prefer to be able to come here and fit here in this room. We can move these chairs out of the way, but it was difficult at the fire hall. It was big, it was echoey, the air conditioning was really loud. And she had a video she wanted to share with us and she couldn't do it there. So, that was one, item of feedback that he shared with me.
The other thing is, realize in the fall for the next few months, during football season, Lower Valley will not be available.
Yeah, they go to all the football games.
They go to all the football games.
He didn't mention that to me.
Yeah, and in borough that they're in, they're also responsible for covering their football games, and they're also covering Riverviews.
Most high school football games on Friday nights.
Now, smaller schools, Riverviews are on Saturdays.
Riverviews are generally all Saturday.
Okay, well, I'll have to ask him about that, because he didn't mention that. Okay, thank you. So one thing that the mayor already mentioned that I didn't realize, it came up during the meeting, is about the 911, that you can call 911 for anything. And I just want to reiterate that to anyone listening later on the recording. You know, you can really call, I didn't know that, honestly. I thought it had to be an emergency to call 911, because in the past, long ago, you know, they'd yell at you if you called 911 about something that was minor. So that was a
That's
good
all
thing
changed.
to learn, yeah. And then we talked about handicap parking. Stephanie provided a couple of samples. So we're starting to work on some handicap parking policies, so that we don't end up with 25 handicap parking spots on a small road that only has 25 parking spaces. So, I think that's about it for my report. Next meeting will be in, September 17th. I'm not sure if I'll be back in town. I'm gonna try to be back in town, so there's a possibility that it could be canceled, but I'll give people plenty of warning about that. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Strategic Planning Committee, Ms. Redzak.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I wanted to let everyone know, I guess I should more properly say, check everyone's availability, because I know you all want to attend a pedestrian safety audit, which I've just scheduled before the meeting, or I would have emailed all of you, with Representative McAndrew, as well as Senator Costa. This is tentatively scheduled, unless you tell me this is a terrible date, Stephanie, Mayor et al. Friday, September 27th at 10 a.m. I'm particularly looking at Stephanie, our mayor.
I'll be out of town.
Can you get?
Friday's to me, Friday's kind of a bad, you know,
I
people
understand.
they go to work, they, you know, like, I want to be done with
It's
whatever.
good for our representatives because
They're in town, so unfortunately, their schedules,
Mayor, do you think you could ask whoever's on duty to participate with us?
Yeah.
I can talk to Jerry.
Dr. Super.
Yeah,
I'd love our council president to attend, as well as our head of Parks and Recreation, and anyone else who is interested.
What did you call this?
This is a pedestrian safety audit. We will be starting at Allegheny River Boulevard in Wildwood and walking to College Ave and ARB Oakmont and returning. More details will follow.
Audit makes it sound so
I'm
bad.
gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
She
so
wants me not to
excited.
drive my truck for a month.
Yeah, no, for a week.
Yeah.
That was a week, So more details will be forthcoming, but please pencil that in and spread the word. We are particularly interested in people of different ages, people perhaps of different abilities, certainly anyone you know who walks this path often. The motivation, I should back up a second and
I was
say
gonna say,
is,
what's the,
well, aside from the obvious. Many of you know that recently we have discussed rerouting the tentative BOP trail. Originally was going to go across the viaduct and down Plum Street, ultimately connecting our riverfront with Boyce Park in Louisville. But due to some hesitation from Representative McAndrew and others, including some of us, we are considering rerouting that to go from James West Railroad by Bunting at Lotus and pursuing to Oak Lodge that is not on the viaduct, that is crossing railroad property, and we're in discussions with them as well, and eventually coming out on College. In tandem, however, I've impressed upon Representative Andrew about the importance of still doing some sort of traffic calming on the boulevard and the viaduct as a safety measure, because it's still very treacherous for anyone who is not in a car, and perhaps even if you are in a car, being passed by someone doing 90 miles an hour, to look at what we can do to still make that a safer area. So hopefully see you all there.
Yeah, that's a good idea, to walk back and forth, unfortunately, like I said, I'll be out of town. Then, get some good exercise and everybody walk up the hill and get ice cream.
Unfortunately, they won't be open. Somebody has to convince them to stay open up early.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be early, you're right. That was a good thought, right?
I've been waiting for them to open for lunch, I keep them in business.
Next, I just want to mention, we still have a committee meeting scheduled in September. We moved August in lieu of having our meeting in tandem with our planning commission meeting, which, as Josie mentioned earlier, will be scheduled for September 12th at 7 p.m. here with Stephanie, not our Stephanie, DCED Stephanie, to talk about the NAP grant opportunity. So this is DCED's program in order to find for comprehensive planning grant funding that hopefully we will get a very competitive match. Stephanie, I don't know if they told you what it would be for that.
We're working on a few things. We can also, that MAP grant will also go to STAMP, so there'll be some, so there's some matching.
So it could be a quite low match. That's a very good opportunity. So join us for that discussion as well, if you like. Finally, Matt, Stephanie and I are still in discussion on the ESPS for a federal grant opportunity for planning money for traffic calming. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
very good, thank you.
Stephanie, I have a question. Or Trish, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was listening to you talk. Trish, a question?
Yeah.
Correction. Is everybody going to meet here afterwards to discuss the law?
That's not a bad idea. I'll suggest that we're still finalizing the itinerary. But I like that idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trish. Okay.
Anybody else? No, thank you. Next up, Personnel Committee, Mr. Jamelis.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last personnel committee meeting was virtually canceled, although it did meet privately to discuss the preliminary personnel budget next year. We're going to continue further discussions, but we are going to have the next public meeting on the 18th, 6 p.m. And that's basically all I have.
Very good, thank you. Anybody have anything for Mr. Jamelis? Okay, with that being done, we'll go to action items. We need a motion to award Insight Pipe Contracting LLC for contract for the CDBG grant 49 sanitary sewer lining in the amount of $137,920.
Second. Motion
by Mr. Long, second by Ms. Brett Zach. Any questions?
I'm sorry, I do want to let you know, we are actually passing 49s. Remember, we are literally in 51.
Yeah,
So if that tells you how long it takes to pass a grant through the SIP funds, right here, right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next up would be a motion to award Ron Gillette the contract for the CDBG grant 49 Sylvan Way reconstruction in the amount of $40,232. Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next up would be a motion to award Sports and Recreation Associates LLC contract for the Verona Park improvements in the amount of $120,220.
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Flota,
Second.
second by Mr. Jamelis. Any questions?
Question, that's Mark Ford?
What?
Is that Mark Ford, Parks and Rec? Sports and Recreation?
I have no idea, it's whoever bids, we don't.
Yeah, I think that's Mark Ford. He's done a lot of work for us. He does a good job.
Yeah, unfortunately, the bids all go through, COG.
The clog,
Okay.
Yes,
they go to there, then the county.
Yes, we have no control.
No, I'm just saying, he's done, excellent work. He's done both parks. You know,
So-
several times since I've been here.
So we're passing all these now, this came from that,
These all came from COG and Matt.
okay.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, we need a motion to approve handicap parking spots at 637 Second Street and 545 Jones Street.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
I have a question too.
With 555 Jones Street, which is only,
545.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
545 Jones.
I have 554.
Oh, we made,
No, I'm just,
That's a typo. It's a 554 then?
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, your application says 554,
So
right?
that's what it is.
Right.
Okay, so it's 554.
Okay, the other one, I have two different ones, for the same address under two different names. The William Coury and, LaShawn Mills.
That's something that we need to go to the police then.
Then. Okay, then, yeah, okay, this is the same phone number, these two here. Not.
Is there a name on this one, Dave?
Yeah, Stephen, C-O,
What's on, is there a name on that?
Williams, C-O-U. I just wanna, make sure we got the right. See, because these have both the same phone numbers, but
Yeah.
two different names.
That's because that's, the guy who's getting it, that's the guy who applied for it, it's a business. That's his pass, it's a business,
Okay,
Okay, so,
because he came in, filled out the application for his boss.
okay, so the addresses are 637 Second and 554 Jones.
Yes.
Okay,
where's 554? Jones. That was 506 when I lived down there.
it's up the other end of the block towards the stop sign.
Corner.
Yeah, it's close to where Riverview Carpeting is.
It'll be up in that area.
No, it wouldn't be as Riverview Park.
No, it'd be up further.
It'd be up towards Rivertown, because they're past the Rivertown on that side, there's no houses.
It's not a house,
That's
it's a
the-
business.
And that's the 400 block.
Yeah.
I was 331 down there.
Yeah.
No,
It's
331. Halo was.
Okay, well, here,
Next.
It's a.
there's a motion,
I know,
on there's a
it's-
motion on the floor and questions. The addresses are, we're motioning, right?
554 Jones.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is there a name on the business? Is Conco?
I think it's part of Conco. I will check.
Do we want to hold off on this?
That's up to the board.
Yep.
We do, I mean.
Should we?
I mean, we have the address.
We have the
Registrations are all in
We're
order.
voting on the address.
I understand, but what I was getting at is, I used to live at 506 Jones Street. That's a big jump from 506 to 554. From next to Riverview Carpet all the way up to, Grant.
It's not near
It's
Riverview Park.
where James Street is, that big long building. It
Yeah.
goes all the way to the out, that's 554.
That's, okay, I mean, like I said, there's a big jump in
Yeah.
addresses
There's.
from 506 to 554.
It happens,
It's
yeah.
right where the old marker is,
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to get cleaner in there.
Oh, fine, yeah.
Clothing shop.
Okay,
Okay, we
no, that's, I'm
continue.
fine with that, I just wanted to clarify that.
any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next, we'll go to announcements and information. We have the newsletter, Mrs. Provenza.
Thank you, Mr. President. Newsletter, that should be in your mailboxes by the end of this week, hopefully. And we're now taking, ads and articles for the winter edition, which would be December, January, and February. And the ads and the articles are due on Friday, November the 1st. For articles, you can reach Donald Worf, our editor, at 412-828-3607 or at veronanewsroom@gmail.com. And for ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, September 17th, here in the Borough Building at 7 p.m. Twin Borough Ministries, the community dinner will be tomorrow, from 4:30 to 6:30. The dinner is going to be prepared by our Borough Council and hosted by our Methodist Church. Historical Society, there will be a field trip to the Tor and Mine this Saturday, the 31st. If you're planning on going or attending, be in the Borough Building at 11 a.m. and the tour will be from 12 noon till 1 p.m. and the cost is $8.50 per person. Now, we don't have anything here for A-Long, but I did want to mention there is going to be a public works seminar. It's going to be on Wednesday, October the 2nd in Wexford. And for more information, we will have probably more, I should say, more information coming up. And the next conference is going to be October 24th through 27th. And that is at the Erie Bayfront Convention Center. And the due date is on September the 3rd, Tuesday, September 3rd. So if anyone's interested in going, you need to move on it quickly.
I need your reservations for that conference by the end of the week. I sent it all to you guys. The sooner the better, because we'll run out of rooms. And the Public Works Conference, the Public Works DPW is already going. We already have them signed up, so.
Oh, okay, good. I do have an announcement I'd like to make, and I feel it's an important one. We have a young man here in the area that has been diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's, other known as ALS. He's married, has 2 little girls and a wife. The families have exhausted just about all of their finances trying to save his life. So there's going to be a fundraiser on Sunday, September the 8th, at the William McKinley Center. And it will be from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. They're even going to have 3 bands there because he used to be in a band, and these are bluegrass music bands. And he used to perform for these bands. Steve Ludwig and the Casual Hobos will be there. Better Late Band and the Cricket Pickers Band. So there's going to be entertainment. There will, of course, be gift baskets and 50-50 raffle. And there will be a spaghetti dinner. So any of you can make it. It would be wonderful. A very, very, very worthy cause. Thank you very much. This concludes my reports. If
Very good.
anybody has any questions or comments, I'd like to take them. Not, Thank you very much.
I have a question. Is there anything else happening on that day?
September eighth.
In the afternoon,
Yeah, I'm making that announcement.
Okay.
That's like,
but this is early afternoon, which is good.
Good. Good, good.
And we had this date. Like, month. So. Okay, Vince, you have the other, because you worked with them.
yes, without much further ado, finally, I've wanted this for years and people talked about it for years. The Vernon PTO, the Verona Borough and the Lower Valley Athletic Foundation is putting together a kickball tournament between the Verner kids and the Verona officials, which will happen Sunday, September 8th, 4 p.m. at Grove Street. It is open to all kids at Verner from kindergarten through 6th grade. T-shirts will be provided for all participants, and afterwards there will be a pizza party, compliments of the village. We are inviting all of the police, fire, EMS, and including Verona DPW, the mayor, manager, and all of the council members are invited to come and play against the kids. I strongly suggest participation with all of us because it is a great way to reach out to the community and the future of our community. It's a good way to interact between the police and the kids and our first responders and the kids and our elected officials. If you're interested in playing, if you're on council or admin or DPW, please email me a t-shirt size as soon as possible. Because we're already pushing it close. We're gonna get the permission slips. I got you. We're gonna get the permission slips from the school around the third. So I will have like a day to order the shirts to get pressed. So and they take about, once I order them, they take about 2 or 3 days to get here. So please get your sizes to me as soon as possible. You don't have to. It's for fun. I don't expect anybody on this board to be sliding into home plate.
We're gonna knock those kids over, man.
Beat the kids in the head with a kickball.
Just make sure that emblem's there for us.
Showing up is gonna be 90% of the battle. Just
Yeah.
show up and support it. It's gonna be very relaxed. We're gonna offer, we're old, let's be honest. We're gonna offer pinch kickers and pinch. I mean, we as in me and a couple other people out there. I wasn't singling you out.
Okay.
But I'm old. I'm not planning on sliding. I might need a pinch runner or a pinch kicker. We'll make it work. Please show up. It'll be a good time.
Yes, it will.
We're gonna get our butts whooped.
Yeah, we probably are.
I'm just
Them
telling you.
kids got energy, like unlimited energy.
Yeah.
So. That's all I have. I think it's long overdue. I've been wanting something like this. Even if it was like a fireman versus policeman softball game, just something to get community involvement and get us interacting with the community. Because as you can see, we have 3 people. We don't interact too much at council meetings. We need to get out there.
Plus all the people on Zoom.
I
think it's a great idea.
It was, I can't take credit for it. It was brought to me by the PTO and by a police officer and they did most of the work. I just asked them what they needed and helped them out, but
I told the officer to go for it.
But, and the spaghetti dinner is $12. I apologize.
oh, and I'm glad you said that. Tomorrow, council is hosting a community dinner at the church. We will have stuffed chicken breast, macaroni and cheese. Salad and brownies for dessert.
Prepared by Mr.
Hey, Tim, Chef Tim.
That it?
That's it.
Very good, thank you for all that. At this time, we'll hear comments from the public. If you have a comment, come to the podium, raise your hand on virtual hand or come to the podium. I don't see anybody on virtual. At this time, I'll take the motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Ms. Venza, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote, or any questions, I'm sorry, no? All in favor, aye, opposed,
Aye.
passed. This meeting's over, thank you for attending.